Hello and welcome, everybody. Can you believe it? It is episode 31. If you haven't been with me on the Inferno podcast, I started out 31 episodes ago when I was blindsided and had the realization that I had invested 12 years of my life with a narcissist slash sociopath, psychopath, toxic person, all the same. Regardless, episode 31 is about the audience. So, someone as fragile as a narcissist, they lack core identity. They're always going to need an audience. And that's why when they are in situationships, which, relationships with other people, they always run parallel supply sources, fuel sources. So without an audience, they do not exist. They collapse. And so if you ever do see a narcissist that's actually alone, guaranteed they are in other vices, some other type of escape. They have to fill that empty void within themselves with alcohol or drugs. And today's society with, social media makes it a whole lot easier too, because they can get supply sources there as well. Everybody and everything is supply to a narcissist. And without an audience, they cease to exist. So they're always in need of some sort of validation, whether it be from coworkers, whether it be from a insignificant other, whether it be a cashier at a gas station, whether it be a boss at work. And, a lot of times, there's some that just don't have a drive to work at all. And there's others that are very hard workers. And if they get into a position to where they're, good at their trade, that extra little validation from a boss that may be appreciative or whatever works well for them. They look at you as a human being no different than they do an item. That's why they can fill that empty void. They have to do something to occupy that internal emptiness that they have. Yes, of course, they have a mind like we do, even though they're not very smart. They're conniving, they're vindictive, they're great actors. And so for that audience, there has to be a stage. And for what that is for a narcissist is whatever little, what they call the shared fantasy, which I call a fucking nightmare. With these people, they have to fill that auditorium with validation, with an audience. That audience can be you. But again, you are looked at as an item, a material possession. You're not looked at as a person with a soul, with emotion, with feelings. You are only there to validate a narcissist. So when they're done with you, which, they don't attach healthy anyway, but they don't detach in a healthy way neither. And I'm definitely living that experience right now myself. So remember that you're not out of the woods with these people until you go no contact with them and cut off the fuel line, as I always say. Clamp off the fuel line, because you are the fuel. Without your fuel, they can go find another audience, which they've already ran parallel ones anyway. But they can seek their validation through material things just as much as you. And you are looked at as material, just a possession. It's a sick, twisted game that they play because, as you know, we are all on the planet Earth and we only have so much time here. They don't care who they are using, abusing, manipulating. It's always for some type of service. You are never, ever loved by a narcissist. You are never going to feel satisfied being in the audience. You know how when you go to, say, whether it be a play or a concert, and you leave just feeling so satisfied because there was a good artist or da-da-da-da-da up there on the stage, you will never leave a situation with a narcissist feeling like you were satisfied. They try to destroy you. If you haven't left them, they leave you. They will try to destroy you mentally. They will try to destroy you physically, emotionally, psychologically, financially, because you're not supposed to be still standing in the crowd of people on the planet Earth when they are done with you. You're supposed to crumble. You're supposed to fall. You're supposed to fall over and be unalived when they're done with you. That's what they would be most satisfied with. It's disgusting, but if you've been in a situationship with one, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They're not grateful to people that are good to them. They're not respectful. And that audience that they need for validation, because like I said, they will crumble and fall if they don't have validation. And it always comes from exterior forces. The sad part about it is they are not open to rehabilitation at all. So if you've been in a situation with one, please cut your losses now and don't waste any more of your precious life with them, because they will never change for the better. As I've said on other episodes, they do change, but they don't change for the better. They just shapeshift and become characteristics and personality traits of people that they've encountered in the past. So again, if you've seen one that's actually alone, they're going to be in some sort of other vice. Without you, oops, I dropped my mic. Sorry, I don't usually hold it. I usually clip it on. Without you, without somebody being a witness to them, without somebody being a mirror to them, they cease to exist. And in order for a narcissist to not go into complete collapse, they have to have some sort of audience. And if it's not a person, which you know you're a person, but a narcissist doesn't see you as a person, it has to be some sort of validation, vice. In the world of social media, as I started to say earlier, is really ramping it up, because the supply, although it's not quality, the quantity of supply, our society's kind of being groomed to be self-indulgent, quick hits. It's teaching people to have zero attention span, right? That's what the whole shorts thing here on YouTube and the little short TikTok clips and whatnot. It's like nobody wants to be in anything for the long haul. Nobody wants to be invested in something that's actually of good quality and of good substance. And in a narcissist's eyes, you are simply disposable. It's a hard realization when you wake up to this, but you are disposable at any time with a narcissist. Anything else I want to share here before I end this episode 31? Again, if you do ever see one that's actually alone or even living alone, there's some sort of other vice there. They could be consuming a whole lot of alcohol. They could be consuming a whole lot of drugs. There's always an escape with them, because they will not go into the recess of their inner core. They do not fill themselves up with the Holy Spirit and authenticity. They're lacking the ability to be able to see themselves. They're very, very weak individuals. And a lot of people, and if you're a grandiose, there's so many categories. Yeah, you probably do have a big ego, but the core identity of a true narcissist has no ego at all. They have no identity. They have no spiritual identity, because they make mockery a lot of times out of faith. If they don't make mockery out of faith, they will pretend to be a holy roller. Pardon me, I'm getting a little bit of a sinus deal here. So again, you are just a commodity, and without you, the audience, they cease to exist. So clamp off that fuel line. Allow that energy to be cut off from you and start feeding yourself too, because if you've noticed, a lot of times when you're finally the one who is done with somebody that is so abusive and toxic, you will start feeling energetically more, uplifted. You'll start glowing again. I know my skin is improved. My digestive system is improved. My nervous system has improved. And I know that I would love that for you as well. So if you're still in one of these situations, please do quietly get your end game strategized, because they can become very dangerous as well. Anything else before I close this episode up? That's about it. Again, just remember this. Although there is so many people out there in online, like I said, it's ramped up for them to validate that narcissist. But again, that's all just quantity, because there's a lot of people that don't know who they are, their core identity of who they are. They sell themselves short. I know I did. I tolerated more things than I should have ever tolerated. And I forgive myself for that. But the one thing that is going to set you apart from one of these narcissists is if you are genuinely in something and you are genuinely, expressing love and being love, you can lay yourself down at night on your beautiful little pillow and be very grateful that you are who you are. Don't allow these people to be up on the acting stage that they're on and throwing tomatoes at you, the audience, because really their value is very low. They're very weak, and they were basically just putting on a character for you. You never really knew the narcissist that was in your life. And the reason you don't know them is because they adapt and shapeshift to the people that they encounter throughout their life, whether it be movies, TV, other sources of supply that they entertain. They're adapting and shape-shifting to whomever they're around. And that's why you never knew them and you will never know them. But you will see it clearly the more time that you get away from them and do not entertain them in any way. Don't argue with them. Don't communicate with them. Keep loving on you. And stop being that audience for that narcissist. Let him go out into that social media world. Let him go to work and find a mistress. Let her go to the clubs with her girls, even though she's married and going out at nighttime. Let him go. Cut off your fuel line, because you are high octane, baby. And they can go out there and keep feeding on that regular fuel. No need for you to be tempted to feel like you're losing something. Never dive into the Inferno with a narcissist, because you'll end up being burned. And at the end of the day, the self-destruct of a narcissist is inevitable, because they lack core identity in who they are. So go ahead. Once you get into that stage, you go into that auditorium, into that sit down, and you start seeing that actor up on the stage for what they truly are. Don't be scared to sit your popcorn down, or maybe take your fucking popcorn with you. Walk up out of that auditorium and just let the bygones be bygones. Walk out of the show. Cut off your fuel line. You'll absolutely glow up. You will find a peace within you once you weather the storm and the realization, because many people have lived years, 10, 20, 30 years with this kind of abuse. But once you're awake and you see it, there's no one seeing it. I hope this was helpful to you. Episode 31. If you're new today, if you find this helpful, or if you know somebody that may be in a toxic, narcissistic relationship shit. Share these out. Help other people. As I rise, you rise, we all rise. And much love to you. And until the next time, shalom, shalom.